your haters will be submitting your name. Hello my lovelies, welcome back and a very warm welcome if you are new to this channel. My name is Araya, aka Mrs. A. I'm a mother, a wife and a primary school teacher. Welcome to my positive motivational space where we're on a journey to become the best version of ourselves. Right, today's topic is one that everyone on this platform can connect to. So you know what, let's zoom right in. Have you ever found yourself in unpleasant situations? I believe the answer is yes. In this beautiful world that we have been gifted, there are a ton of challenges that we face, most of which we never imagined could happen to us. Oh yes. So long as you remain in here, you're not exempt. That is the bad news, isn't it? None of us are immune to challenges. No matter how good we are, we cannot escape the inevitable truth that life comes with challenges. Challenges can come to us no matter how good we have been. It's not like telling Santa, "Hey Santa, I've been good this year, so I need some more presents." No, it doesn't work like that. That would have been great, isn't it? Well, the challenges of life has a whole range to offer. That is another bad news. In fact, enough for everyone to have their share of it. Yes, that's not great either, I know. The good news is, it is different for everybody. I don't know how much of a good news that is. At least that's something. Now, to name but a few, challenges of life ranges from financial, relationship, bereavement, health, conception, childbirth, career progression, personal development to social and societal issues, and the list goes on. The challenges of life spares nobody. Yep. It comes to the strong, it comes to the weak, the old, the young, all genders, affluent people in society, leaders and rulers, the poor, the feeble, the just, basically everybody. But guess what? Most people don't talk about it, especially when they're going through it, because they are doing their best to deal with their issues in peace and in private. If we were to see the level of challenges everyone around us goes through, the world would be a very depressing place to live. I believe that. Every one of you listening to me right now is either going through something or has endured some pretty bad times. Oh yes, and I am not exempted. But guess what? Sometimes people misinterpret other people's situations. For example, I think social media is actually a good example for this. You sometimes see people with a perfect body or a perfect family or even a super amazing job, etc. And you compare it to your life and you start feeling rubbish, or you sometimes even envy them, isn't it? No. Guess what? They also have their own cross to bear, and maybe if that cross is given to you, you might not be able to carry it. The challenges of life can actually be compared to labor. It happens with contractions, then you get a break, and then another contraction, then a break, another contraction, then a break. You might be on a smooth sailing ride, then all of a sudden, some issue from nowhere just runs into you, something you didn't ask for. We tend to spend our lives searching for meaning, trying to make sense of it all, sometimes torturing ourselves over the unfairness of the situation. Imagine we had the choice to actually suggest some names to God You know when we have issues and we're like, oh God, why me? Imagine if we actually could suggest some names to God and be like, God, take this one and let me not go through the challenges, just kind of push it somewhere and be like, God, take Ryan's name. And then we could be spared. I cannot talk about the challenges of life without remembering this very challenging time of my life too. And just to add that this is an issue of my past. So I do not seek to gain sympathy because I've gone through the healing process and I have learned to live with it. But I only feel the need to share it with the hope that it would encourage somebody. A few years ago, I had a physically, emotionally, mentally, and psychological painful experience or challenge in my life. Something that most women go through actually. It started off with a pretty normal pregnancy. 4 months down the line, I went for a checkup. And to my horror, they found that things were not going according to plan. So I was given 2 options. Either to have a medical termination or go through a normal delivery process, which can be excessively painful, physically, emotionally, and psychologically, because it involves a whole lot of things, including getting in dues, plus burial ceremonies or cremations for the little one. It was a tough decision, very tough. After a long time of contemplation, I decided to go for the normal delivery because I couldn't let go, and I desperately wanted to see this child that I had bonded with for 4 good months and now had to let go. So I was given a date, in fact, quickly, because it had to be done pretty soon. After a lot of crying day and night, and I can't even stress on the intensity of my weeping. It was one that felt like it will never end. Don't know if you've ever experienced, you just weep and you just feel like it will never end. Some of you, I believe, will identify with me on this. My husband was supportive, but he was distraught because he was dealing with his own emotions, plus seeing me in that state and not being able to help as much was devastating to him. Fast forward, I was given medication. So the plan was to start, they give you medication and then you come back to see them. On that day, I cried my eyes out. I cried inconsolably and closed my eyes as if to erase this horrible experience by just keeping those eyes closed. A lot of agony. I took the medication and started feeling a sense of hopelessness. After the appointment, we came home, but no one knew what I was going through. So I had to carry on with life as normal. In the midst of your trials, your challenges, sometimes you have to show up as if nothing has happened. After a long agonizing experience, he arrived. He was gorgeous, he was tiny, fully formed. I was surprised. He was an exact replica of my husband. His nails, fingers, shaped exactly. Everything was like him. What a weird feeling that was. Initially, I was very happy because I was happy that the physical pain had ended. It was over, but I also forgot for a single moment that I wasn't going to go home with my little one. So the reality set in and I started mourning the departure of my beloved son. And this time the pain went to a whole different level. He was dressed very beautifully and put in a tiny crib and kept next to me for the whole night. Obviously I couldn't sleep. I kept staring at him and crying all night long. I drowned in deep sorrow and felt very hollow. That was the first time I saw my husband weep like a child. Yeah. I was given an option for him to be prayed for before departing, which I quickly accepted. So the vicar came in the morning and prayed. Finally, it was time to let him go. That was a different level of pain altogether. Then, it was time for me to leave the hospital. Walking out of the hospital empty-handed felt very disempowering, but I was left with no choice, so I walked out like a complete loser. Few weeks later, we were invited to the burial, and that brought back my emotional pain again. After the burial, I started going through a whole lot of emotions. At first, I started with frustration, anger, mood swings. It was a very tough time. How did I deal with my trauma? Acceptance. Yes, acceptance. It took a while because I had to go through grieving and healing emotionally. The power of acceptance set me free eventually. Acceptance is usually underrated and often confused with apathy or even resignation. Think about it this way. No matter how much you allow worry and sorrow to drown you, it will not fix your issues. Let's face it. It has already happened. There is nothing you can do about it. So, how can we use the power of acceptance to heal? In order for us to live a happy and fulfilled life, we need to start to recognize when we are in our break periods before the next storm hits. Remember the analogy that I just gave? So the contraction, then a break, then a contraction. So in that break period, we have to become mindful and intentional so that when we are in our break periods, we can fill them with so much love and take advantage of the great moments by enjoying the experiences it comes with. If you dwell on your challenges, it will make your experience worse. Oh yes, because it won't solve it, believe it or not. However, it will magnify it in your eyes and ultimately extend your pain and suffering. I've been through it. You will never truly be happy or feel satisfied. When I had my challenge, I had to accept that I couldn't change what was happening and that trying to fix it was going to prolong my pain and suffering. This is why I decided to practice acceptance. I looked for the good around the pain. I thought of the fact that I could have lost my life too. I thought of the fact that I had the chance to say goodbye even though I couldn't get to keep him. I just tried to bring out everything and give myself the good reasons to be able to live with it, to learn to live with it. If you want to be happy, you have to learn to accept the things you cannot change and those you have no control over. And the power, the ability to know the difference, the serenity prayer. Let go of the expectation of fairness. There will always be someone prettier than you, or someone richer than you, or someone smarter than you. If you let go of those expectations of fairness, you're going to feel better in yourself and have a good experience of the world and begin to appreciate all the lovely things in your life which you have probably overlooked all this while. We can't change a situation, but we can actually change our response to this. So when life gets tough, stop, have a cry if it helps, get up and work a new plan. Show up and show up real good. Forgive yourself for not always getting it right. Be kind to yourself. It's perfectly okay. Life is a series of experiences, lessons and moments, and we just have to soak up the beautiful moments that we get in our break periods with the people we love while we have them. Consider subscribing. Remember to like, share this video, and I want you to put your comments down to let me know what you think about the vlog today and how you have dealt with challenges in life. I will leave you and love you. Have a super duper 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 lovely week. Adios. Bye. Au revoir.